My name is Nazbeh. My name is Nazbeh. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new to this channel, please make sure that you subscribe and join the rest of the family. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. Today we are talking about disclosure, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. Instead of talking about disclosure from a point of view of someone living with HIV, I wanted to zoom into someone that is actually receiving the news. So this is inspired by the upcoming TV show that I'll be hosting on Honey TV, where I'm basically assisting people to disclose their HIV statuses to their loved ones. I'm providing a safe space for them to do so. It is inspired by several messages that I get on a daily basis of people not knowing like what to do when it comes to disclosing their HIV statuses. And the other part is people that have received this news and don't know what to do, right? And obviously people that I get to interact with on a daily basis. So recently we did a pilot for the TV show. So it's a child that is disclosing to their parents. And the most common thing, and this goes across, once again, to people that I've interacted with, to messages that I often receive. From a point of view of people receiving the news, it is always the case where people feel offended that the other person, in this case, the person that is living with HIV, did not trust them enough or did not trust them earlier to disclose their HIV status to them. So they feel like, why would they not trust me? I knew I would handle the news very well. I'm their parent at the end of the day. I'm their partner at the end of the day. I don't discriminate. I don't stigmatize people that are living with HIV. I don't do that. So how could they not trust me? Why is that? It's so common. And that conversation even goes down to a point where people try to prove that we should not even be talking about all of this because in 2022, with so many different interventions that have been put into place, people should not feel like they should be hiding their HIV statuses. And that's where I want to go into. Why is it still important for us to talk about these issues and why we should not be gaslighting it? So to make an example or to further explain the importance of this, I'm just going to highlight something very quickly to make a point. On social media, when we try to bring issues such as racism and sharing our different stories pertaining to racism. And in most cases, there's always that one person that always tries to gaslight what we're talking about. So they'll often try to prove any other way that, now they're not racist. And for goodness sake, this conversation should not even be happening because it's 2022. It's the new South Africa. No one sees any color. We've overcome all of that we have experienced in the past. And my problem always is the fact that you are now reducing the whole conversation to prove by when now you are not racist. You have reduced the whole conversation and personalized it and made it about you. I have a problem because you are also missing an opportunity where you can learn, where in cases you may have been racist without even realizing it. So it's the same thing when it comes to disclosure, where people feel like, no, I don't stigmatize. Don't do that. I love everybody. I don't stigmatize against people's statuses. And once again, it's the same thing. You're missing an opportunity where you can learn, where you could have possibly discriminated someone that has been living with HIV. You are missing a point where you could learn what you could possibly possibly have done wrong. And do not reduce the whole conversation to prove by way now you don't discriminate, or way now you don't stigmatize people that are living with HIV. So the next question may be then, okay, Genozi, I don't know what I did right. I don't know what I did wrong. So why would someone feel that they could not trust me and they could not disclose their HIV status? Why would they take so long for them to come forward to me? There's a couple of things that I want you to think about. The first thing is, in all honesty, sometimes it's actually not even about you. It's a matter of the person just does not feel ready. It doesn't matter how many times you will make an example of, yo, Unozi is HIV positive, yo, she's living positively, you can see she's thriving, because you're trying to engage this person and you're trying to make them feel that if you ever find yourself in that situation, do not feel like you could never trust me. Do not feel like you could never ever disclose to me. My husband often says, until a point where someone discloses to themselves first, they could never be ready to disclose to another person. So there are circumstances like that where it does not matter what you do, that person is not ready, and we should just respect that. So up until a point where they feel they are comfortable, they are safe, they've disclosed to themselves, they can talk about it freely, then we should respect it, and whenever they come, we should welcome them as they are. Okay, so that's the first thing. It's not about you, they are just not ready. So the second thing that I wanted to share is the fact that we need to agree in 2022, there is still stigma attached to people living with HIV. That we need to agree on, okay? And I've done so many interviews trying to explain what I mean about that. So we have moved away from, the early 2000s where people felt they could not touch people living with HIV. No. Everyone is aware that you can touch someone living with HIV. You can be in the same room. You can use the same utensils. No. Everyone is aware of that. But it has shifted where, because there are so many interventions, there's condoms, there's PrEP, there's ARVs, and then because of that, you'll hear comments such as, "You're right, but now, son, how can you get infected in 2022 when there are so many different things available to you?" Right? It's those comments sometimes, it lands on a person that has made a mistake or found themselves in that situation, sometimes not even voluntarily. I'll make an example. A wife that has been faithful to the husband, or even vice versa, for many years, and the partner goes out and cheats. Even if it's one time, it doesn't matter. That person trusted the husband, and we in this understanding that once you get married, you don't need to use a condom because you are committed. In this marriage, there's a covenant and so many different things, right? And then you are telling that person, but now, son, in 2022, now, son, why didn't you use a condom? Why didn't you use PrEP? Why didn't you use this? Why didn't you use that? So that person now is afraid to come forward because of such comments. It comes at different levels of discrimination because, I love how we have tried to normalize the conversation around the HIV, but I feel like it has also gone to a point where we have normalized it too much. We have taken the essence of what we were trying to achieve in the first place. So in normalizing it, we have also made it a joke. I've shared so many statuses. For example, the Honey TV call to action, right? So I'm sharing this. I'm putting it forward for anyone that is interested to come forward and share their story for me to help them. And I observed so many, shares, people that were sharing the statuses. And even in the comment section where people were tagging other people, but Chomi, I think this might be the right show for you. And it was like, obviously they were joking, right? I'm hoping they were joking because you can't disclose someone's status like that, right? So they were making jokes, but Chomi, I think the show is about right for when. And then the other person comes through and comments, but the other one is like, it's very true, it will be right for me. And then they tag another person. There are people, your friends, that see those things and think to themselves, oh, okay, he joke, like he joke, because you never know. You never know. You know, in the journey that I've actually traveled, now when I came out with my status, I thought I was alone because I had no one that freely shared their HIV status with me. But the minute I shared my status with them, or with the whole world rather, I got people that were in the same vicinity as me, people that were close to me, that were disclosing their own statuses. And I was shocked because I was like, oh, I know can't. So don't think umhlambi just because you don't know someone's status and think umhlambi lo mntu akho mntu who's in my vicinity, who's HIV positive, no one will find offense with my joke. You never know. You just never know. So that's why I'm saying, mana, in normalizing HIV and the conversations around HIV, I think we've normalized it too much, to a point where we just don't take these conversations serious. And unfortunately, it's at the expense of people that are going through these things. And then we're often asking ourselves, why did someone not trust you for them to disclose their HIV status to them? Gandhi, it's the environment that they're exposed to. So now I've talked about the environment that this person is exposed to, the context of some of the social media platforms we're exposed to. I'll even make another example if you allow me. There is an artist, that lost weight and might be going through some condition that they alluded to. And I saw how this person was trending on social media to a point where he felt so much pressure to put out a video to explain that he's going through something, but it's not what people are alluding to, because people were at his comment section talking about ARVs, talking about medication, talking about HIV. Hey guys, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? There's another one, Usis Criselda, following something Soweto's video. Usis Criselda was talking about how, I think she's on some detox, if I'm not mistaken, or a health journey where she's trying to take care of herself, I think possibly losing weight. And she said something that really hurt me when she was like, listen, if I start losing weight, please don't start, thinking that there's something wrong. I'm losing weight because of my HIV status. And I'm like, she did not have to do that. But because of the environment that we are exposed to, because of the environment of that we have created, it's natural for people to feel the need to defend themselves firstly, before it gets out of hand, before even people start talking or making conversations about those things. It didn't need to go there, but I understand why it needed to happen, because it's the kind of conversations that we get to be exposed to on social media and any other environment, actually, for that matter. So I just want you to understand, ezinye izinto that umhlambi you did not do intentionally, but they are there. It's within the jokes. Those subtle jokes that we often make, and we think there's nothing to it, but there is. There really is. And then the last thing I just wanted to share is this. I've often had this conversation so many times with people around disclosure and why they still have not disclosed to their loved ones. Sometimes it is you. It is you. You are the reason why people don't feel comfortable to disclose to. I often say, particularly with my family, it's not that they had said something to me. It's not that they had said, Nozi, if you were infected with HIV, we will disown you, we'll do this and that. No, they never said that. My mom never said that. However, it's conversations that happened in my presence about other people. It's conversations that were had about other people. It will be people that have been diagnosed with HIV. And then my mom will use that case to warn me not to go through the same thing. But also, there's a condescending manner in which this message is being delivered. And there's also a judgmental tone that is being used to deliver the message. And sometimes, once again, it's not even about HIV. Sometimes it was about any other issue, pregnancy, things that were happening around the neighborhood, things that were happening in other people's lives that made me feel, but hey, if unokwazi uthetha lento ngomnye umntu, and I'm just making an example in this case, if unokwazi uthetha lento, if they could say this about this other person, how much more if I had to tell them about what I was going through? So we should be really mindful about, hey, I wonder intoni umntu wayiva kum ndithetha ngomnye umntu umhlambi enobangela them not feel comfortable to disclose to me. Those things are very important. I have a friend that continuously, it always boils down to that, but I love my friends, I love my family, I love people that are around me, and I know they support me immensely. But I don't feel comfortable because I have seen how they have talked about another person in my presence, not knowing that I was going through the very same thing. So you can't tell me that you can't continue to talk about these things when izinto ezinjeyana zisenzeka. You can't tell me that we can't talk about stigma when it comes to people living with HIV when these incidences happen right before our eyes, but we have come to normalize them to a point where we are immune to them. We're immune. So that is why I always feel passionate when I talk about these things, because I get to interact with people that are going through these things. I get to interact and I get to experience and I get to hear their own perspective. But yo ansoze ngikwazi. Wena ungacimba bana after the disclose, everything is, nothing has changed. Mostly 90% of the time is the case. It's the same thing that happened with the girl that wanted to disclose to her parents, where nothing changed. The parents actually, took the news very well. Yes, they were offended in terms of, why didn't she come to us first? Why didn't she trust us? But the question also was, but Dada, have you also provided an environment where she could feel safe and feel comfortable to come to you and disclose her HIV status? Because you can't use the fact that ungumzali or you're a parent, whereas uyayazi the dynamic there is between a relationship of a parent and a child. You can't use that. Yes, at the end of the day, you are a parent, you'll always be a parent, but there are certain things we don't feel comfortable coming to you with because we're afraid. And there's never been a platform where we can sit down our parents and talk about issues that affect us. Sometimes you are literally not the first person we think of when we are in trouble because of different circumstances and different things and different incidences and just the nature of the relationship you have with a parent. So it's the same thing when it comes to the relationship that we have with loved ones, with partners, with friends. Starts with you first. When ungumntu, not only to this person, but also what kind of environment have you exposed this person to? So I just wanted to leave you with that. Just evaluate those things before we even talk about why it took them so long to disclose. Just think about, what did I do for them to feel otherwise? What did I do to make them feel that they could not trust me? What did I say in their presence for them to feel they could not, there was never a safe environment for them to disclose their HIV status? I hope this really helps. Okay guys, until next time, thank you so much for joining me today. Bye.